What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Corvette Weekly. This is the Monday night show where you, of course, can find pretty much everything about Corvette. News, rumors, maintenance tips, ownership, experiences. If it's about a Corvette, you'll find it here. So welcome back to Corvette Weekly. I see a lot of the same names in here as usual. Before anybody asks, David wasn't able to get on here because he is working. So luckily for us, we have Brandon until about 8:40 tonight when he has to go to work. So some of us have to work for a living, I guess. But yeah. So guys, we got a lot to talk about tonight. A lot of ZR1 stuff. You guys have probably already seen some of the ZR1 stuff we're going to talk about, but we're going to kind of dive into it a little bit deeper because me and Brandon were just talking off camera. And there's some odd verbiage that they used for some of this stuff. And it's not just a clear cut 2.3 seconds to 60 and stuff like that. So we're going to talk about all of that. But before we do, of course, we always want to get through the niceties, the welcomes to the channel and all that good stuff. So yeah, we're going to be giving away again, guys, tonight, a solar performance throttle controller. We got a couple little interesting tidbits to talk about with the controller because some of you guys have left some pretty interesting comments on the channel about them, and I feel like we should share them. So Joe actually sent me some of the positive feedback from you guys off of my own channel. And yeah, we're going to talk about all that tonight. But as usual, guys, every $10 is a donation. If you want to win a free, well, pretty much free throttle controller, $10 will get you an entry. And I actually already have Larry Lewis in the chat here. He's already donated $10, so he is in. Now, we're going to do the same thing as usual, guys. If you are a member of the channel, all I need you to do is smash that number 1 starting right now. I know a bunch of you guys already did it before, but I need it right now from here forward. If you're a member of the channel, smash the number 1 so I can get you set up with a free entry. And yeah, we'll go from there. Now, if you're not a member of the channel and you would like to be, it'll cost you a little less than $10 to get entered. And I'm going to post the link in the chat here. All you guys got to do is click on that link and it will take you to the area where you can become a member. And at that point, you will also get your free entry for the giveaway tonight. Okay, so Steve Robertson, I got you in for one. Looks like Jay gets in for one. What's up, everybody? Amber, she says Merry Christmas, and that's a good way to start this off, guys. We are very close to Christmas. I have to keep being reminded of how close we are to Christmas because it keeps slipping my mind that we're already this close, literally 2 days away from Christmas. So we have a nice spot here with the Monday Night Live where we're not going to be super interfering with Christmas or with the New Year, but we're still going to be right up against it. So Merry Christmas, everybody.
Hey, what's Amber doing right now? Is she at the house or
she's at work?
She's out and about shopping. She's at work. Oh, okay.
So neither one of those two more fun things that you listed. All right, so I see a couple people in here putting the number 1. You guys are not members, like Butch Winslow. You're not a member of the channel. If you want to be, though, I'm going to put the link in the chat again. All you got to do is click on that, become a member, and you'll get your free entry. Okay.
There's a bunch of questions about the throttle controller for other makes and models. Is it only going to be for the Corvettes that they're going to offer this, or if somebody wins, they can get it for like a Raptor or TRX?
Oh, well, yes, if they offer it for your car, which is something you'll have to actually check on the website because I'm not 100% familiar with exactly what they offer. But oddly enough, they did actually just send me a controller for my TRX. That's going to be a future video, but yeah. So they do have one for a TRX if you have one. As far as the Raptor, I'm not 100% sure on that one. Joe's in here, though. Joe might be able to answer it.
Have you put it on the TRX yet? Because
no,
I'm curious.
I literally just got it today.
I hadn't even thought about getting one for that.
I hadn't either until Joe mentioned it. I was like, yeah, you know what? Why not burn even more gas? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, the TRX is already so fuel inefficient. But yeah, so Joe says you can go to the store and pick your throttle controller of choice. So if you do win, you can, as long as they have it, They'll send it to you for whatever car you want.
I'm
Glass
trying to
City
think if
car.
I felt like the TRX has been. I feel like it's pretty responsive from the get go, but everything there's room for improvement
I
on
was just gonna
most
say,
things.
I always think that too. And then once you install it, once you really like feel the difference, you're like, man, I can't believe I ever thought that that was responsive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Mr. O, welcome to the loyal HPO crew. So I'll get you in for your free entry here. Thank you for becoming a member. Now, guys, of course, you get your free entry, but if you want a better shot at winning, every $10 additional would be an additional entry. If you donate $50 or more, it is double entries. So if you really want to win this thing, $50 would be your best bet as of right now. No one's donated that much. James, you can actually skip that. As long as you're putting in horsepower obsessed, it will come to the right person. You don't have to worry about the phone number. And I'll confirm once I get the payment from you as well. Yeah, Jay, I would imagine it's going to help in the Raptor just as much as it does in the Vet, if not more. Some cars have even worse throttle response than others. The C8 Corvette in general, on the Stingray side of things, I didn't think it was that bad. Just like Brandon was saying, responsiveness felt pretty good. Then you put this in and you're like, oh, that's what it's supposed to feel like. Professor Corvette, you live dangerously. I like that.
That made me crack up,
Yeah.
Professor.
He says if you connect 2 solar throttle controllers in a series, will the throttle be even more responsive? It's either going to be more responsive or it's going to catch fire. I mean, who knows? But
maybe it'll do both. Catch fire and be more responsive.
It would be so responsive that the gas pedal will start moving before you even touch it.
Yeah. It automates the gas pedal. Oh, I don't know if you guys have been on Facebook today, but it looks like Corsa might have officially released their intake now, at least are announcing what it looks like and all that stuff for the C8 Z06 coupe and hardtop convertible with their cover. And it's got like 2 separate filters. It's like carbon fiber. It looks like even Venturi, but maybe a little heavier with maybe bigger filters. And they don't connect. They go straight into the throttle body separate from each air intake, which looks kind of interesting. They claim 31 horsepower. I don't know if they mean like under the curve or if like that's peak. I didn't see any dynagraphs, just like a claim. That's all I saw. But it should be interesting to see what that. It looks nice. It's a nice looking unit. That's for sure.
Do you know where I can pull that up so I can show it? That's a great thing.
It's on some of the Facebook groups. C8 Corvette ones. Zero Poppy is the guy's name that he. I think it's Corvette Exhaust Systems. He's got it on his website, Corvette Exhaust Systems, I think .com. He has a link somewhere to pre-order. I don't know if it's going to be readily available if you try to Google it. I did see it on Facebook though. It looked very interesting. Maybe somebody in the comments can have a link or something to one of the official. But I did see it today. It looks really nice, and the price point was decent. It was like 1,500 ish without the clear screen. That's just for the intake. If you want to buy the clear screen, I think it's extra. I'm sure it's probably like another $1,500 or something. But it'd be interesting to see kind of, it's like basically a play on the Venturi. It looks like almost similar, but maybe with bigger filters and a separate runner design. That's what it looked like to me.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to see if I can find it here because that would be I have not seen that yet. And that's pretty cool.
I just saw it a few hours ago, actually. I think maybe like 5 hours ago, it popped up for pre-order. It looks like it's not going to be coming out to first quarter. They're saying first quarter next year, but they're taking, I guess, pre-orders, or at least this Zero Poppy with Corvette Exhaust Systems. I guess that's the owner. Looks like he is. So.
Okay.
See, Kevin's asking if I'm thinking about trying it out. The price point's not bad at 1,500. I wouldn't buy the screen, but I would maybe try it and see, at least 60 to 130. I'm not interested in putting it on a dyno, but maybe to see if like 60 to 130 versus my JLT, see if it does any better off of that. I'm thinking about it. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I'm considering it.
Yeah. So guys, I'm getting some confirmation here. It looks like from Darren saying that that there is a throttle controller for the Raptor. So if you guys were interested in, I don't know how many out there have a Raptor, but if you're interested in it, looks like there is one. Squirrel Cage Garage, Ken, I did get your Venmo and I did get yours as well, James. So we're good there. I just got one from Miriam for 30. So
And then
that's three.
answer KP's question. I'm not sure what the material is made out of. I think it's the same one as they use for the Stingray. So whatever the Stingray clear screen is, I think it's probably the same
Yeah.
material, whatever that's made out
I'm
of. I don't
pretty
know if it's
sure.
polycarbonate or
I'm
what.
pretty sure it's a polycarbonate. So the only reason I know that is because I've tried a couple different times to find out for sure because I want to get it polished, and I think it's acrylic that is tough to polish. One of the clear plastics is harder to polish than the next. Clear polycarbonate is pretty easy, or maybe it was plexi. Oh man, I'm all confused now. It's either plexiglass polycarbonate or um, the other one I said that I can't remember now.
No, sorry. Yep. Draw a blank on it. You said polycarbonate, there's plexiglass, and then I can't remember what the other one was. But
Wow.
anyways, it looks like it looks like a decent design, at least on the intake. I'm curious to see how. The only thing I see as far as that looks pretty obvious is it looks like it's probably going to weigh more than the even tree, just because the filters look bigger in the
Yeah.
pictures. I don't have any confirmation of that, but the filters are probably like, I don't know, probably maybe at least 30 or 4% bigger. It looks like than the even tree, which I don't know what that'll do to airspeed. That might slow the air down. I have no idea.
Well, see, and that's kind of the interesting thing because whenever I took my Eventuri intake off recently to clean it, it's interesting. The design of that intake is very interesting, and you don't really notice it when you're first installing it because there's no real reason to take off the end caps and look at the filters and stuff. But the filters in there are, first off, they're reverse mounted. They're the opposite of what you would expect an air intake to be set up like. Not just that, they are very small. So they're relatively small filters for such a large amount of air coming in. They went through, I think, what 11 different intakes or something like that. I know Corey at Paragon had shown all the different iterations they went through to find the one that flowed the best, made the most horsepower, etc. That's it, Steve Robertson, acrylic. Man, I said the freaking word, and I was drawing a blank on it. I can only remember two at a time. I can't remember three. But anyway, I'm going to try to find it here and see if I can.
It also looks like you could throw that behind the even tree clear thing. It looks like at least eyeballing it from the picture. So that'd be something else you could try. Keep an even tree screen and then putting that intake behind it if you wanted to just try them out.
Are you seeing a picture of it, Brandon?
I haven't seen a picture. If I could get off here, I would send it to you. But I've seen a picture of the actual intake. Let's see. I wonder if there's a way I can get on my. I might be able to get Beth to email it to you or something, but I don't know how to do it like rapidly while we're on here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look for it while we're talking here because I'd like to see it, but
it was on like C8 Z06 Corvette groups. It was on one of the. It was on cross posted like 3 or 4 different ones, probably like 4 or 5 hours ago. So it should be on most of them. I don't know if you'll find an easy link to the Corvette exhaust system pre-order, but I know it was on his website. I just don't know if he's like populated or not yet. Hey Beth, do you care to look on, see if you see Corvette exhaust systems website, see if you see the C8 Z06 Corsa intake? But anyways, at least like throws another option into the ring. So now we got JLT, we got Corsa, which they waited, which I'm assuming they waited to collect data or to kind of see if things they can improve on. I'm not really sure.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. So two things. Number one, Corsa exhausts are always, out of all the offerings, they're always the heaviest. So if I had to guess, the intake's going to be a lot heavier. Well, not necessarily a lot, but it's going to be heavier. But the fact that they waited almost feels like a good thing. Almost feels like they were getting data, they were perfecting it, whatever it might be. It might be coming out late because it might be the best one. Who knows? We'll see. I mean, it's going to be tough to beat that Eventuri, but it's not necessarily impossible. New Horizon.
Okay, it is on his website, Justin. If you go to his website, CorvetteExhaustSystems.com, and then you go under See It Corvette, I can see it on there. There's a link to it. Let's see here. Wish I could. What's your email? And I'll have her email you the link.
I'm looking at the site now. If you
got it now, okay.
I'm on the site. And then
there's a bunch of pictures of it. It looks pretty cool actually. It's just the big difference that I can see is that instead of having joint forces on the air, it's that each side gets its own individual air supply, which I don't know if they do that to keep airspeed higher, which maybe that's how they get away with a bigger size filter and not slow the airspeed down. That's just a theory. I don't know. But it's a pretty decent looking unit. And also I think, because I was asking about it, it looks like you can't get the clear cover for the convertible. So if you have a convertible, at least right now, they're not going to offer the clear cover. It's only going to be on the coupes. For some reason, I'm not sure if it's like a design thing or what, but you can only get it on the coupes for the clear cover. So if you want it, I think for the convertible, then you're kind of stuck with not being able to see it.
All right, I'm on CorvetteExhaustSystems.com.
Yeah, and then under products, and then it has Corsa air intake, carbon fiber 44012D is the number, and it's under. Let's see where she got it. Yeah, under products. Let's see here. You see it now?
I don't. I'm on, and that's all it is. It's just CorvetteExhaustSystems.com.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, CorvetteExhaustSystems.com, and then under C8 Corvette Z06 air intakes, there's a link down at the bottom right of the screen. It says Z06 air intakes, and then it pops up.
I see it. Okay.
And then they're advertising. I think it says actually 33 horsepower, which it doesn't say much more than that. It says 4,950 RPM, so it's probably something similar to the Venturi where it gives you mid-range because they're not advertising.
Wow, this looks like it's a lot cheaper too.
Well, that's without the screen, so that's just buying the intake. That $1,500.
Okay.
That's only intake, no screen. So then you throw in the screen, which I don't know what that's going to be, $1,500 or so. That's going to be it's going to be about the same price as the Venturi.
Well, that's interesting for the people who don't necessarily want to cut their carpet. So, guys, I'm going to show you the intake that we're looking at. It's interesting. I'll give it that. It's interesting. So, here it is. If I open up these pictures, you can't really open them up too much bigger, but you can kind of slide around. You can see the carbon fiber, the intakes come out and go to the side where the air's coming in, but there's not a big box like there is with the Venturi, and it fits behind the stock engine access panel. So you don't have to get the clear one if you don't want to. And actually, yeah, Brandon, It looks like the clear one is the same one for the C8 or the Z06.
And you see how big those filters are? They're big. I just don't know if that actually is beneficial. I have no idea. But because even sure, I feel like the reason it's so good is probably because the airspeed picks up. Well, I'm not sure how that works.
That's basically why they designed the Venturi the way they did, was with the filters inverted, is because the way that it channels the air better through that intake. So I would like to see the actual dyno. They don't have a graph on here, do they?
No graph. It's just the base, those numbers. It doesn't say anything on peak. It just says mid-range. So that is kind of interesting too. And it does list like a warranty with it. Yeah. And the clear trunk is sold separately, it says. So
I don't know that I even necessarily love their clear trunk version. I like the idea that there's a lot of carbon fiber, but I feel like, I know coming from a guy who really likes carbon fiber, this is going to sound weird, but I feel like that's kind of useless. Like, if you're gonna make it clear so I can see it, I get that. That's kind of cool, but I don't know.
And I do kind of like the access covers for the filters. That's kind of nice. That's might be, I don't know if that's easier or not than to get off the Venturi. I'm not really sure. I don't have Venturi.
That's definitely going to be easier. Like, a lot easier. The Venturi is interestingly designed in a way that is, like, I would say half an inch smaller than the size of the hole that you're putting it into. So that half an inch is, of course, cut in half because there's two on each side. So it's about 1/4 of an inch on each side. It is that little bit smaller than the hole you're putting it into. So you can't grab it with your hands and pull it out because your hands then make it too wide. So it's an interesting setup. I think this would definitely be easier to maintain, but I don't know that it's necessarily better for performance. And if it's not, then I'll take the harder to maintain one any day. Because
based on their advertisements, it's not listing wheel horsepower either. I'm guessing it's probably not going to perform as well as Venturi.
I'm guessing.
I just think it's probably going to be better than JLT. That's what it's probably going to fall in the mid range. If I had to guess.
Do you know what the cost of the JLT is?
Less than $1,000. It was like $900, $800, somewhere in there.
Okay.
It's not a lot. It's pretty cheap. So this is $500 more. I just looking at it, I bet it's going to perform better than JLT, but I don't think it's going to match the Venturi. But that's just a guess. I don't know.
Huh. Interesting.
Because I figured they would advertise like wheel horsepower if that was the case, and I feel like Venturi actually advertises like wheel horse, and this just says numbers but not wheel horse. So
we have now 3 pretty good options, and they stand incrementally as far as price is concerned. So you got the JLT at about 1,000, the Corsa now at about 1,500, and then the Eventuri at about 2,500. Now the Eventuri is worth more at 2,500 for one, possibly two reasons. The biggest one is there's a lot more use of carbon fiber, but two, it could potentially be a better performing intake. And if it is, the extra money is, well deserved. But at the same time, I get it. Some people don't want to cut their carpet. Some people don't necessarily even need to see the intake. And if that's the case, JLT or the Corsa is going to perform pretty well too, it sounds like, just not as well as the Eventuri. I mean, even Brandon's contemplating moving to the Eventuri.
Yeah, just go weight and the power. I think it's at this point, at least the two offerings that are out, it's superior. At least in my mind, I haven't seen any data that suggests that it's not. So I think it's the superior offer. Not only that, you save 10 pounds. So that's my big thing. I'm like, I can save 10 pounds with this intake. So.
Oh yeah. Chopper Larry says that intake looks like a power loss. I agree. The design of it being two separate channels coming out like that, I can almost guarantee you it's not going to perform as well as the Eventuri. That Eventuri, whenever I took it apart to clean it, again, like I was saying, you are hit immediately with, this thing is purposely built. Like, you can tell all of this stuff was not just thrown on there because they had extra parts sitting around. Like, they did a lot of testing with this thing, and I know they did. Corey flat out showed us all of the different prototypes that they had, and the differences from the very first prototype to the very end one that they finally went with were massive. I mean, you're not talking about incremental changes. They went through a lot of different changes to get this thing to the point where it was a performer.
New Horizon makes a good point on the comments. The way it's priced makes me think that if it was outperforming the Eventuri,
it would be higher.
They would have priced it more than the Eventuri, right? Or at least equal.
100%.
The fact that it's cheaper but more expensive than JLT makes me think it is going to fall in that mid range somewhere.
Yep. And the price is perfectly placed right above the JLT. So it'll probably perform better than that, but not as good as the Eventuri. Now, if by some miracle they come out and they outperform the Eventuri at that price, then totally all bets are off at that point. Okay.
I think I'm gonna order it. I will try it out in 6130 and just see if I can get. I'm not gonna put on a dyno because I don't want to spend the money, but I may just at least put it through some 6130 real world testing and see if I can.
Is it out or is it just pre-order?
No, it's pre-order. Just pre-order. I think the first quarter one of so I think January is when they're thinking. January, February is supposed to start sending out. That's what he was saying. I was messaging the owner, Zero Poppy, when I saw him post this about kind of details, if he had weights or anything like that. Didn't have weights, but figured it was probably a few pounds lighter than stock. And I just got a few. I was asking about the clear screen and those things. So
okay. All right. So while we were talking, I did get $10 from Charles. I'm not sure if you're Charles, let me know your username here so I can attach a username with the real name that pops up in Venmo. So Charles, if you sent me a Venmo, let me know what your name is here so we can get that going. But guys, we got a couple different, actually we got a lot of entries so far today. $50 or more is double entries. Actually, we just got another one from Alance. So Alance is in for 2 entries.
That Corvette guy, I've heard some clips of that Barrett Z06 exhaust. I don't think it's like officially out, but somebody sent me that was doing some of the test mules and some of the clips. That thing is wicked sounding. It just looks heavy. Like there's so much piping to it, but it sounded phenomenal. At least from what I heard. It's hard to tell through phone clips and stuff. But
which exhaust?
Yeah,
was that?
It did sound good. The Borla, the one that's coming out. I don't know if they've actually officially released it yet, but some of the testing ones, the pipes kind of crazy looking.
Yeah, we looked at that, and that's the very first thing I thought too. Is like, wow, that thing's going to weigh a lot. And I bet you, I would put money on the fact it's going to weigh almost as much as the stock unit because GM is putting this as a GM performance option. And when they do, they still have to meet all of the criteria for the EPA and stuff. So it's going to be heavier than your typical aftermarket exhaust. And it may sound phenomenal, but it's going to be heavier. The Chaz 81. Okay. I got you in there, man. All right. So guys, again, Solar Performance is the sponsor of the channel here for December. And guys, they have some freaking ridiculously cool products. If you guys or if you're on the fence about this at all, I want to share some some of the more interesting comments that I've gotten on my channel from, I know from a bunch of you guys, but Joe sent them over to me. So we're going to start here with, of course, Seawolf Z06. We know him. He's in the chat all the time. He says, I put my solar throttle controller on my Z06 when I first got it in April of this year, and I was blown away by the difference it made. A must-have mod at a very reasonable price. Robert says, the installation looked extremely easy. The solar throttle controller for me is the pedal lockout since car theft is at an all-time high. This one with a fantastic username of just user says, I have a throttle controller in my brand new 25 C8 Z51. It's insane. First mod I did. I promise you that username, that is not me, even though it's definitely generic. So there you have it, guys. Just three random comments that Joe grabbed from the Solar Performance Throttle Controller video I did. You guys seem to like the product pretty much as I do. I personally have not seen a negative comment about this thing. So it's one of those mods where, you know, the price is pretty reasonable. If you buy it and you don't like it, their return policy is so good, you send it back. You literally, within 30 days, they'll take it back. They don't care. They're not going to question you about why you're even returning it. So if you don't like it, send it back. And if you win it on here, you can keep it. You can sell it. You can do whatever you want to do with it. So it's definitely a good risk to take. This is one of those mods that doesn't cost a lot of money, and you could potentially win it tonight for even less than what it costs. So might as well take your shot. Looks like we got a couple more donations tonight. We got Anthony George playing big on this one. He donates $100. So Anthony right now is definitely in the lead here with 20 entries. If you guys really want this, you can't let him get away with that. We got Jay in for another entry, so Jay is the second one with the most entries. And Ryan is in with 2.
Hey, Justin, which throttle bodies did they end up taking last week? Did they pick the C806 throttle bodies on the...
No, so the winner was AARPM, which is Aaron. And he chose 91 millimeter throttle body for a C8 Stingray because that's probably what he's going to end up with.
Okay. So he hasn't put them on. I was curious what he thought.
No, he doesn't have a car right now. He sold his C7 Stingray, and he's thinking he's going to get a C8 Stingray now.
I've been trying to get Nate to do some throttle bodies on his car.
Dude, he should. I mean,
I don't think he's done anything with the catback so far, mod wise, besides like the aesthetic stuff.
Yeah. What's up, D'Anthony? How's it going, man? Super 8, Joe. Yeah. He says, is it a good idea for an E-Ray? Absolutely. It's going to respond just as well as the Stingray does because the part that you're putting on there is basically the Stingray engine. So the 91 millimeter throttle body would be fantastic. The throttle controller would be awesome. And you can win the throttle controller here for less than you'll pay at the Solar Performance website. Now, with all of that said, in the links or in the description down below, you'll find my discount code for Solar Performance's website. So if you don't win this stuff and you want to go big, you want to grab some throttle bodies, some throttle controllers, HPO5 will save you 5% on anything on their website. So really easy to remember, HPO5. So if you ever need to grab anything from there, if you don't want to wait for it to be a giveaway, that'll still save you 5%. Yeah, so Joe Lanza here, he's the guy we've had on a couple times on the channel. He works for Solar Performance. There is no connection whatsoever to the electric motors for the throttle bodies or the throttle controller. So you're not affecting anything with that setup. 10 Seconds Z06 says the Corsa intake is $2,800 with the window. So it's about the same price for the Eventuri in their window. Wow. That's actually more.
But the thing is with the Eventuri, you can't get it without the window. At least with the Corsa, you have the option to buy spending a little less if you don't want the aesthetic.
If you guys watched my videos last night, it's all about options.
Yeah.
So this is a great option to have. So yeah, Brand's right. Having the option is cool. You don't have to get it with the window. Whereas with the Eventuri, you don't have an option. That thing will not fit behind the access panel without that clear bubble.
And I'm assuming, like I said, I don't know, but that's what the wording sounds like on the ad for it. I'm making an assumption, but
John Perkins says that Aaron had a C8, missed the manual, bought a C7, and then he's talking about buying another C8 now, John. So maybe he missed the manual and then realized he didn't miss the manual. or he's going to do the same thing again. So now the Corsa window costs more than the Venturi window, but yeah, definitely. I mean, with the Venturi intake, you're buying the majority of your cost is the intake itself. Whereas with the Corsa, it sounds like since the window's part plexi or something and carbon fiber, it's more expensive.
And you were saying you remove your carpet too for the Corsa one. Is that right? Justin, like the rear carpet comes out because there's so much of that exposed. I don't know how you can have your carpet back there. So I'm assuming you take out, it looks like from the picture.
Oh yeah, you have to cut it. You have to cut the carpet if you're going to use their.
Oh, you have to cut it on that too. Oh,
Yeah.
You can't just take it out. I thought maybe you could just remove it. Okay.
Yeah, no, you still have to cut the carpet to fit it in there, but that's if you want that clear window. If you don't have to change anything.
No, I mean like for this Corsa, like it looks like maybe the whole carpet comes out and you don't have to cut your carpet. So I wonder if that would be maybe a benefit. Some people don't want to cut their carpet because I don't see any side carpet.
The bottom still is in there. If you there's one of those pictures. If you look at, they cut just the top part off.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, that makes sense.
James Middleton, I got you in for $10. Nope, that's a different one. Wow, we got two James in here with almost the same last names. And AARPM, speak of the devil, and he shall appear. There he is. All right, so yeah, he was the one who is possibly he won the throttle bodies last week is ultimately what it comes down to, and he chose a 91 millimeter throttle body for a Stingray. KP says, is the window polycarbonate? I can't remember now. I'm gonna have to dig through my texts and I'll get you an answer next Monday night. It's either polycarbonate, plexiglass, or I am drawing a blank on that other one again. Why is this happening? I gotta scroll up here. Someone sent it to me. Acrylic. I keep wanting to say Alcantara. So yeah, acrylic, polycarbonate, or plexiglass. It's one of those three, and I have the answer somewhere directly from Corey at Paragon, who got the answer directly from the guy who runs Venturi. So it's definitely the right answer. I just got to dig it up.
Has anybody in the comments else heard that? I know there's been some clips floating around, but
I don't think that I've only seen one clip. I think you sent it to me.
Oh, really? Oh, well, I don't know if I'm supposed to send it actually. So maybe it's
me over here brain farting all over the place, but oh yeah. Yeah, our internet connection's dying again. That's fun.
It sounds okay, at least from what I'm hearing, but that's on our side, I guess. Oh no, it's frozen. Dang it. I see it now.
All right, it's coming back. It's coming back. Good God. I have a new internet setup coming here in the next couple days, I promise. Hopefully the sound isn't messed up here now. Does it sound okay to you, Brandon?
It sounds okay to me, yes.
Okay.
But I'm not listening through my actual live.
Okay.
Looks like we might have froze again.
Oh man, it is dropping again. It's coming back up though. Oh my God, what is going on? I hate my internet. I hate it. There, it's coming back now. Jeez. All right, are we good? Are we good now? Can I actually talk without the internet dropping? Man, I hate Comcast. I hate Comcast.
Oh God, don't get me started on Comcast.
Trust me. Comcast.
I've lost my mind so many times.
I've lost my mind on them too, but the problem is in my area, you get Comcast or you don't get anything. How about that? And it's like, I don't understand how that's not a monopoly. But yeah, E-Ray C8 Nate says Justin's internet needs a throttle controller. Yes, it does. Good Lord. Yeah.
I mean, you technically could get Elon's Skylink or Skynet or whatever it is. Skynet.
Those things always have such ridiculously bad ping that it's never worth it.
Well, on his, I thought his ping was okay because their satellites are closer. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it's okay-ish because his satellites are like closer to the closer orbit or something.
I'll be honest with you, I'm about to look into it because Comcast makes me sad every Monday night. It's like I don't get it. It's fine. And then all of a sudden it will drop and die, and then it will come right back and it's fine for the rest of the night. It's like, what is going on? But anyway, yes, Aaron, AARPM asked, do members get a free entry in the new giveaway? I just got here a few minutes ago. Yes, you do. If you guys are a member of the channel, type number 1. And if I didn't get you in there yet, I will get you in for a free giveaway or free entry into the giveaway. If you aren't a member and you would like to become one, I'm going to post a link to the membership in the chat. You click on that link, you become a member, and you will get a free entry for less than the $10 it would take to get a free entry or an entry normally. And yeah, guys, let's hit those thumbs ups. I totally forgot to check about that. We have missed our 100 thumbs up goal by 8 o'clock. So if you guys could please smash the thumbs ups, let us know you're liking the content. We are about to start talking about a ZR1 here because I know we've wasted some time not talking about it. So as I'm talking about the ZR1 stuff, guys, Professor Corvette, you nailed it, man. We're about to talk about it. Remember, the giveaway is still going, so don't forget to get your entries in because we are going to give this away at the end of the show tonight. With all of that said, let's talk a little bit about the ZR1 information that you guys may or may not have seen. Hopefully you did see this, because if you didn't, I question whether or not you're living under a rock. But
Yeah.
here it is. So the press release for the new C8 Corvette ZR1, we've all talked about the 0 to 60 time, what we thought it was going to be. Chevy comes out and surprises us because we were told at Carlisle not to expect anything too crazy different from the Z06, which is a 2.6 second 0 to 60. I was expecting probably the same with the E-Ray. I was expecting probably 2.5, but it comes out at a 2.3. Now, the reason why this is kind of surprising is because it doesn't, it has the exact same tires. Well, for the most part, we'll talk about that. It's the Sport Cup 2R tires, the same, pretty much the same car otherwise. How is this faster 0 to 60 than the Z06 when the Z06 loses traction 0 to 60? So a couple options here. But something me and Brandon were talking about behind the scenes, which is most likely the case. But in my head, I was thinking a couple options where they messed with the torque control or the limiting torque and throttle response. They messed with all that stuff to perfection and then purposely gimped it a little bit on the Z06 so that the ZR1 would be faster. Or something that Brandon mentioned initially that I had totally forgotten about is that they are working on changing the tire compounds for the Sport Cup 2Rs. If you guys don't remember that, they tweaked it a little bit. Now, I don't remember, and maybe you do, Brandon. Do you remember, did they give us a date for when those new tires would be seeing the light of day?
I don't remember any dates. I don't know if I've seen anything that actually set a date on it.
Okay, so if that's the case, it might be just after the ZR1's released because they were changing the compounds. And it wasn't anything crazy. GM flat out said it's not going to be a crazy, crazy difference, but they are changing the compounds enough to make it a slightly different tire. Maybe that's what allows this thing to hit 2.3 seconds over the 2.6 of the Z06 because of the different compounds, or maybe in combination with the fact that it's also got more weight on the rear end because of the turbos and all that stuff. So Brandon and I both had heard that the ZR1 weighs somewhere around 200 pounds more, and all of that additional weight is in the rear. So there's a good chance that extra weight on the rear and those tires being a slightly different compound is allowing a 0.3 second 0 to 60 time improvement.
That's what my guess is. I know there's probably the coolers and stuff out a little bit to the front, but I bet the rear weight bias has got to be closer to like 63-37 or something more than what it was 60-40, which when I put mine on the scales, it was almost even to 60-40. So I bet that little bit of extra, maybe with, like you said, the torque management system, they played with that.
Yeah, it's
the
a combination
compound being a little softer.
Yep.
And then all those things together. And then even the wing, I mean, like you said, it probably doesn't add a lot, but 30, 40, 50 miles an hour, maybe it starts kicking in and you get a little more downforce on the rear tires. Because it looked like the ZTK was the one that was a little faster, which probably because of the Cup 2Rs, obviously. But
yep.
It is interesting. I didn't expect that at all. I don't think we're going to see that in the real world, but on these prep surfaces and hero runs and Paul Farmer type stuff, I can see maybe they're getting it there. But this is it's pretty wild just to think about.
So Professor Corvette, I have not heard that anywhere. Has anybody else heard that there's a difference in the fifth gear in the ZTK? I thought I had heard that specifically there was no difference in the gearing at all.
I don't think there's any difference.
I
The
don't
mile an
think
hour
there
and the
is
quarter
either.
kind of suggests that too. They were only like 2 mile an hour off between the regular
Yeah,
Aero and the
right.
GTK.
And yeah, someone
Um,
asked about that. Professor Corvette again. Tire differences, ZTK and non. So yeah, the ZTK is going to get the Sport Cup 2Rs, whereas the non ZTK will get the Sport 4S tire. Possibly, eventually, the Sport the Pilot's 5S tires, which they're out currently, but nobody has said anything about whether GM's going to adopt that on the C8 platform or not. So if you guys don't know, your typical Michelin, even the Sport Cup 2R or the Sport Cup 2 or the Sport 4S tires, those are not just a regular Michelin Sport 4S tire. That is a tire that is specifically made for the Corvette. So even though the 4S tire exists outside of the Corvette, the one that we get on the Corvette is specifically made for the Corvette. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but that's why GM's playing with different compounds and stuff. So anyway, with all of that said, some things, some other questions that exist are, at least for me, I was surprised to see that the quarter mile time, just like Brandon was just saying, is not that much different for the car if it's not the ZTK package. So in the press release here, they actually kind of go over all of that, and they let us know that the ZTK equipped ZR1 runs the quarter mile time in 9.6 seconds, but the standard without the ZTK, so the lower wing car, it goes to 60 in 2.5 seconds, only 0.2 seconds slower, and finishes the quarter mile in only 0.1 seconds less. So the tire compound in general doesn't seem like it's making a gigantic difference here between the two cars. I mean, 0.1 seconds in the quarter, 0.2 in the 0 to 60 sprint. So pretty interesting that there's not that much of a difference. And me and Brandon were talking about it behind the scenes, where it's like you got this giant wing bolted to the back of your car, and it seems like the Aero is not super limited by that anymore. The
to
top.
me, that makes it a slam dunk on the ZTK
I
package. The
agree.
only drawback I feel like to ZTK is you're losing some acceleration typically in high speeds. And if that's the difference, then to me, I'd be like, yeah, I'm paying extra for ZTK. Like, why wouldn't you? 2 mile an hour is nothing. I expected like 5 mile an hour difference between the Aero and stuff that's
Yep.
on it. It's so surprising to me.
I don't know the difference off the top of my head, but I bet you the difference between the C7 ZTK and the C7 non ZTK is probably pretty close to what you just said, Brandon.
5 mile an hour. I feel like that's especially when you get into those. It seems like it would be exponential the faster you're going, and they're going even faster through the quarter than the other cars were. So that to me makes it. You would think it'd be an exponential thing, at least be 4 or 5, at least.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, you're going to tear through the tires, no doubt. I mean, the Sport Cup 2s that I have on my C7 ZR1, they go quick. I'm on my third set and I only have 16,000 miles on that car. So like I have 10,000 miles now on my C8 Z06 and the tires are still good. Like, because I don't have Sport Cup 2s. Sport Cup 2s are definitely a soft compound. There's no doubt about it. But I like the Sport 4S tire. It seems like a really good all-around tire. You can pretty much do everything with it.
And the other thing too, Justin, maybe that the actual 0 to 40 is relatively similar to the Z06, but what they're doing is once that traction's hit,
Yeah.
the boost they lay in that extra, they know they can get it that extra power the Z06 doesn't have there. They can just get that extra tenth to the 60 from the 50 to 60 mile an hour range.
Yep.
That would make sense too.
Yeah, once they may have something programmed in the car literally that once it knows it's locked traction in, open full boost. Like, and it's very possible. We're just assuming that this car is not going to be able to get any traction 0 to 60 when, just like you said, it might not get any traction until 40, and then at that point, bam, you're hit with full boost. You're going to get knocked into a different dimension because that thing's going to put you into the back of your seat.
And I will say, at least coming from like C4, C5, and C7, the traction difference between the C8 platform is night and day, in my opinion. The closest thing I can remember was C4, which had no power,
Yeah.
to getting something similar. And so, I mean, this C8, just from the traction standpoint of how much superior it is with that weight on the back, it's just all around, it's a better platform.
Yeah. It's not even just the weight on the back either. It is the traction management in the car is really, really good. It really is.
That
And
too.
it's, especially in the Stingray, it's actually so good that it doesn't let you have much fun. So in the Stingray, it's really hard to do a donut. It's stuff like that because the car doesn't want to lose control. It doesn't want to break traction. And it does so badly not want to that it limits fun. Because, I mean, even a couple times I took my C8 Stingray to the drag strip, you can't do a burnout. The minimal time it would let you do one was like a half a second at most. The tires would spin once or twice, and that was it. That was the best you could get. So you're going to have to choose usually. You either want some good traction control or you want to have some fun. It's the C7 was the last Corvette, I think, that really lets you have it your way. That you could turn off the traction control and you could have some fun in the car. But the traction control in the C7 is admittedly not as good as it is in the C8. So if you're looking for pure traction and you want to have the best possible times, the C8 is definitely the one you want to mess with.
And I've tried all kinds of different combos for traction. Like I've tried the Toyo R88s, the NT555R2s in the 19s. I've tried the PS4s. I've tried different launch techniques, and I've gotten it a little better, but like not much of a difference. And I haven't seen great 60 foots on the street. I've gotten some improvement, but not like what you would think, what I was expecting at least. Trying to counter, even turning everything off and just doing full traction control off 10-second, trying to launch. I can carry the tires for 15, 20 feet, just burning them. They still accelerate pretty good, but haven't really nicked off a lot better 60 foot. It's been very difficult.
Imagine if you could actually do, warm up the tires in a nice burnout. Do you think that would improve your 60 foot?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's getting the tires hot is my limiting factor.
100%.
I think the NT55 R2s, like the drag radials, if I could get them like to the temp I want to get them, I think I could be pulling 1.5 60 foots at the track like no problem. And I've seen people do that on full prep tracks, but the tracks that Dave and I have gone to, the prep has been horrible. Like stock Z06s were pulling like 1.920 60 foots, like awful. And I've seen guys get 1.5 1.6s on stock tires on well prepped tracks. So we're going like on crappy tracks and like street roads. And the best I'm getting is like 1.7. Like that is the best 60 foot I'm getting on an unprepped surface.
Yeah. And see, that's kind of where the concern lies for me, is that to do a burnout, yeah, sometimes people just want to have fun and do a burnout, but ultimately a burnout, the reason for it was to warm up the tires for drag strip purposes. If you can't do that, you're really only limiting yourself in those kind of races. And like the Camaro ZL1, actually the sixth generation, I think the SS did too, the ZL1 and at least the ZL1 1LE, they literally have a burnout mode. You put the car in the burnout mode, it locks the front brakes for you to sit there and just roast them. And it's like, you're not going to have a problem with cold tires in that car.
They need a line. If they could give us a line lock option,
line lock.
I think that would really take away, like the times that the vets are putting out would completely change, especially the Cup 2R cars when they could get those high. I think if they could just over the air update us and give us a freaking line lock, because they can do it electronically. They don't need old school. You would have to have a valve that would actually cut the brake fluid and keep it in the front. But now, they can just do it electronically, and they could, in theory, could do it over an over air update if they wanted to. But not that they're going to. But
the brakes in the C8, I mean, not in the ZR or the ZL1, they're not electronically driven the way they are in the C8. Like there is no. The connection there is electronic. So just like Brandon said, if they wanted to bring out a new mode, they could do it over the air and it would all be electronically driven. There's not even necessarily any messing with hydraulics in there. So yeah. I saw a question pop up I wanted to address. Oh, no, let's talk a little bit more about this because there's still a little bit more to read off on the ZR1 stuff here. So if you guys haven't seen this yet, there's still a good bit here to go with. So a nice quote from Josh Holder. He says, the 2025 Corvette ZR1 yet again exceeded our expectations. Combined with a top speed record of 233 miles an hour, which is unrivaled by any current production car priced under $1 million, the Corvette ZR1 delivers on its mission to provide customers unrelenting power. So that is a pretty powerful statement right there. That 233 mile an hour top speed is unrivaled by any current production car priced under $1 million. Crazy. Yeah. So, you guys, I don't know if you've seen the video yet, but if you haven't, it's all over the YouTube. I'm not going to play that again, but really cool to see some of these specs here. 2025 Corvette ZR1 at a glance, 5.5 liter twin turbo LT7, 1064 horsepower, fastest car ever built by an American auto manufacturer, capable of 233 miles an hour top speed. purposeful carbon fiber aero package, creating over 1,200 pounds of downforce at top speed. So you're not going to see 1,200 pounds of downforce at anything less than 233 miles an hour, which is, none of us are going to see that. 8th generation Corvette 0 to 60 stats. The Stingray was able to do it at 2.9, Z06 2.6, E-Ray 2.5, ZR1 with the ZTK package 2.3. Now, the interesting, all of these get a little, asterisks at the end. All of them do, actually, Brandon, not just the ZR1. It says down here, on a closed course, based on initial vehicle movement. Now, can I zoom in on that? No.
Yeah, what are they using as a timer? That's what my question is. Like, what is the timer? Is it the on-board timer? Are they using like a draggy system? Are they using a track timer? Like, that's what it's kind of confusing to me. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that.
That is interesting. That's an interesting question. We don't know if they're necessarily using the onboard timer. And if I had to guess, I'm going to say no, because the onboard timer's not 100% accurate, as I'm pretty sure you've noted, Brandon. There is a difference if you run draggy versus that in the onboard timer. What was it like? Typically, it wasn't a lot, but it was enough.
3 or 4 tenths of minimum usually difference between what shows on the draggy and what I actually see.
Was it slower or faster?
The in-car will always be faster than the draggy. The draggy's always slower. Like even where we were doing like E-rays, they were getting like 3.1, 3.2, and the onboard timer was showing like 2.8. And so it's like 3 or 4 tenths difference. And it's the same way with my Z06.
Okay. If that's the case, then maybe they are using the onboard timer, because it's more likely that they're using something that's going to read.
Or do you think they're doing the 5 mile an hour rollout thing and just not saying it? I mean, I know.
No, because they said
Tesla's doing that now.
They said that it was based on initial vehicle movement. So that implies to me that car is not moving at all until they start the test. You know what I mean? So not even a 5 mile.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's awful fast. I mean, that is cooking. I mean, you think like a Plaid with all-wheel drive and the best traction control system on the planet is getting 2.0 or 1.9 with a rollout. Like they time it with a rollout, so it's a 2.0. I think I get like usually I average like 2.3, like around that range. That's crazy. They're getting with a rear-wheel drive on those tires, the same tires that we have roughly, other than slightly different. That's just crazy to me.
Yeah, but
I don't think anybody's going to produce that.
More too, so I mean, there is a weight factor there.
Yeah, it's about 1,000 pounds heavier.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, that's what you guys missed if you haven't seen that yet. I do want to also mention, if you haven't seen this, that the first VIN ZR1 is going to, of course, be auctioned off at Barrett-Jackson. They've done this with every single one of the initial launches of the C8, and so far the most expensive one has been the Z06, going for, I think it was like 3.8 million or something. This one is likely to go for more. The E-Ray went for, I believe, 3. If I had to guess, this one's going to be just a hair
5.
more than the Z06. No, if it goes for 5, man, we live in a world that I don't even know about anymore.
Well,
5 million.
Don't they get tax write-offs? Isn't it like a tax write-off for
It probably
Hendrix
is, yeah.
or whatever? So it's like who cares? He's like, he doesn't care.
It's interesting. If it goes for 5, I'm gonna be freaking blown away. That is just a massive amount of money, though. So yeah,
this is a game changer car, though. I mean, this car is.
It is.
There's nothing. There's not. As far as from American made, there's nothing that touches this.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that touches that top speed for under $1 million. I mean, to really think about, even this car. If this car comes out and it costs $250,000, that's still $750,000 less than what it would take to get a comparative car. That's insane. Chevy really struck gold with the C8 lineup. I mean, every one of the cars is so good for its price range. It's not even funny. DBM David's putting it out there. He says easily 5 million. He will bet $1 million on the fact that this car hits at least 5 million.
You should do a raffle or something with like a board with numbers, and we should all like get on the raffle, and somebody wins the pot.
That would be interesting.
It's the closest to it. We should do that.
The only problem is gambling at the fact that the people that are going there to bid on these cars like this are just like rich, drunk people. You really want to put your fate in the hands of a rich, drunk person.
Well, I mean, yeah, for fun, who cares? That's like whatever.
Yeah, Joe says Rick is a billionaire. What's 5 million? Yeah, I'll just make that. I'll make that amount tomorrow. What's up, Wheeler?
Professor Corvette says
Merry
60
Christmas.
Bitcoin. That's like 6 million now or something.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, Professor. It doesn't sound like much to say 60 Bitcoin. I think one Bitcoin's like 25 or 30 grand, isn't it?
No, it's like 100 grand now.
Is
it's,
what?
It's gone up like crazy.
Oh my God, I don't follow it. I don't follow it at all.
Yeah,
it's 100 grand.
They may be more than 100. They were in the 90s the last I looked, like a month ago.
I got it. Oh my God, it is $94,000. Oh my God, yeah. Nothing makes you want to kill yourself that more than I remember when Bitcoin was first introduced and it was trading for like $10. Like
or 1,000.
Yeah, like
everyone is 1,000.
Can you imagine if you would have jumped in on that? Like just put in like 50 grand on it when it was $10, you would be the richest person alive.
Well, somebody would have stole mine by now. They would have
right. Yeah. Right. That's true too. Wow. And 94,000 is actually down. It's down like 0.5%. Oof. God. That's crazy. So anyway, moving on. So ZR1's going to be auctioned off at Barrett-Jackson. One other thing I wanted to talk about, which is actually pretty cool. In the meantime, guys, smash the thumbs up button. Get entered in on this giveaway if you haven't yet. Smash the thumbs up. Thumbs up really helps. But one other thing we're going to talk about today is, because we're talking about how awesome the C8 is, we can't stop at that point. We got to mention that the U.S. News and World Report 2025 Corvette wins in head-to-head matchup against a 2025 Porsche 911. This is interesting because if you guys don't know, there's a lot of history between the Corvette and the majority of the Porsche car. Corvette and Chevy specifically have chased Porsche, chased Ferrari to try to mimic some of the stuff that they do to makes their cars so great at a fraction of the price. And it's starting to seem like they're finally getting to that point. I mean, we're talking about how awesome the C8 is in performance-wise, looks-wise. I absolutely love the C8 Corvette. And it comes down to the fact that a lot of other people are starting to notice this too, and giving the Corvette its props over the Porsche. So Porsche 911 is not exactly any slouch, and these categories, the C8 beats the Porsche. So there was only one category where the Porsche beat the C8, and before I show you, can anybody guess what that category was? Brandon?
Cost.
No, not cost.
No.
That's a good guess, though. Give me some guesses, guys. Where do you think the Porsche beat the Corvette?
Braking.
Nope.
Braking.
Nope.
Not braking?
I thought that too. I don't know that they go that in depth with it.
Oh, are there any like interior things about like is that part of the rating at all? Like
it is
touch and feel.
It is
maybe that interior ergonomics.
I thought that was going to be it too, because that's always where people say that the Corvette lacks, but it's not the interior. It's not the price.
What?
10 seconds Z06 said the price. Nope.
It can't accelerate. It can't be acceleration. So
nope.
0 to 60, I'm pretty sure they're pretty close. I don't know.
Nope.
What is it?
Not weight, not turns.
Oh, somebody said gas mileage. Is it gas mileage?
It was gas mileage.
What? The Stingray gets great gas mileage.
The Porsche beat it. It gets better gas mileage. That was it.
Oh, it's 6-cylinder. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was it. So gas mileage. And I thought the same thing. James, Brandon, everybody's saying interior. I thought for sure they were going to say the interior. But no, gas mileage. And it's the thing that no one cares about. Like, if you're buying a car like this, do you care at all? I mean, me and Brandon both own a Ram TRX. Do you think either one of us care about gas mileage? That is probably the worst performance or worst efficiency in a vehicle on this planet, and I love it. There's Jeremy. What's up, man? He said suspension. That was not it either, though. All right, Jeremy, I'm going to get you in here for your free entry.
How many entries do you have now? You have close to 20 now, right? Something you had 15 earlier.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 22. We've got 22 entries.
Oh, wow.
See, James, actually, I disagree. I don't think we do need a bigger gas tank, because Chevy has really kind of weighed the options here. Do we give them a bigger gas tank, which equates to much more weight on the car? Or do we give them a decent sized one that still keeps the weight down as much as we can? that's the idea, keeping the weight down. I know you could just fill the gas tank less than half if you really want to do that, but at the same time, I don't want to add too much more weight to these cars. I mean, I'm already kind of concerned now knowing that the ZR1 is going to weigh somewhere around 200 pounds more than the Z06 based on something. I don't know where I saw that, but Brandon saw it too. So I know it's got to be out there. And 200 pounds more is starting to really push that thing into some seriously heavy territory. So I don't know that I want to keep going with that. Hopefully, once the C9 starts really ramping up, I hope GM starts playing a lot more with lightweight materials for the majority of the car, whether it's the frame, the tub, whatever it is, needs to be lighter weight.
I think the wheels need to be standard magnesium on the C9.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Well, even the forged ones that we got on the C8 Z06, they're not, from what I was told, they're not fully forged face and barrel. One of the two, and I can't remember which one it is, so I'm not going to say, but one of the two, either the face or the barrel, is not forged. Only one of the two
Well, that
parts
makes sense.
is. Yeah, because they're
Because the aftermarket, it beats them by like 5 pounds almost every time. So that makes sense.
Yep. C8 Nate said he's actually filling up his E-Ray at the gas station right now. That's funny.
Dude, I hate getting gas. And that's one thing I will have to agree a little bit with James there. Because, like, I hate getting gas. You have to get it so often. I can't imagine in ZR1, you're going to be, it's probably going to get like 160 miles to the tank, how most of us drive.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be getting gas. That's going to be getting gas every few days.
The Z06 already gets something like that with me. If I get on the gas at all, I'm averaging like 180 miles for a full tank of gas.
Oh, dang. Wow. I get like 200.
No, when I drive that car, I drive it. I mean, I don't get to drive it as often as you do because of the weather, you know? So whenever I finally do get some seat time in it, I like to drive it like it's meant to be driven, and your gas goes quick.
Yeah. I grandpa it until I'm playing with it. When I'm playing with it, I hit it hard, but every other time I'm usually just grandpaing it.
I think that's it for the news tonight. But let me see here. Guys, if you haven't smashed the thumbs up yet, please do. Let's get those thumbs ups moving. We are going to give away this throttle controller tonight. So if you guys are interested in the throttle controller or you've been on the fence about it, we showed you some user interview or reviews that have actually commented on my channel after seeing it, using it in their own car. Nobody has said anything bad about these things. So they're good to get. So whether you win it tonight or you go on their site later and you use my HPO5 code to save 5% on anything on their site, that's up to you. But you might as well take your shot at it tonight. I did get $50 from Mr. O. And yeah, so we're caught up to date here. So if you guys are interested in getting in the giveaway, every $10 is an entry. $50 or more is double entries. So you can send a Venmo or Super Chat right here in the chat. Either way, you should get entered to win this thing. You're going to like it.
Hey, Justin, I'm going to have to get off, head in. I'll have to see you guys later. Thanks for having me on.
Sure. All right, guys. Let's say bye to Brandon. Thanks for coming in. As usual, Brandon, he's going to go save the world. So have fun at work.
Okay, thanks. I'll see you guys.
See ya. All right, guys. So we're going to finish this up tonight by ourselves. Brandon had to go to work. David is at work, and he's still in the chat. So that's how dedicated these guys are. They're still on here even when they shouldn't be. So always good to know there. Let's see what we got. So any entries that you guys are interested in getting in here? Jim Middleton says, are you guys going to the bash this year? We're still kind of deciding on that. I think we're leaning towards yes. So we probably will be there, but you'll know, we'll talk about it more as we get closer to it. Looks like Aaron donated 50. I have to open these up just to make sure. Yep. Okay. It is AARPM. Okay. So we got one more in there for 50. So guys, we are caught up here. If you are interested in getting in on this giveaway, you're going to be noticed as soon as you donate. So, we got you on there, Aaron. Professor Corvette says hooking up a solar throttle controller on his washing machine cuts down on laundry doing time. I'd have to see that. I'd have to see that setup to believe that's true. Aaron will be at the bash for sure, he says, with or without a car. So we'll probably meet up again. If we do come down, Aaron, we'll stay in contact, of course. We'll all meet up and do like we did last time, rolling down together. That was a good time. Yeah, Lucas, I'll tell you what, like we talk a lot, and this has come up on the channel a couple times from other people. One of them is one of my friends too, where on the live videos here, we talk a lot about the C8 Corvette, and it's mostly because the C8's the new thing, and it's the thing that everybody wants to hear about the news in and everything. That is not at all to discount previous generations Corvettes. Obviously, you guys can tell I'm a fan of the C7 Corvette as well. We don't really talk about the C7 that much. We don't talk about the C6 that much, but that is not because they're not great cars. They are fantastic cars. I love my ZR1. I still like this, believe it or not. I still like this a hair more than my C8 Z06. This is still the car for me. If you feel like your car, the C6, if you feel like that's your car, I'm not going to take any offense to that whatsoever. So ideally, we will in the future talk more about the previous generation Corvettes as well, but it's just that there's not obviously any new things happening with the older Corvettes, so there's not anything to really be on that cutting edge of news with. Yeah, John Perkins, we would like to meet up with you too. We did that last time, I believe. Professor Corvette says, anyone still think ZR1 will be a 25? Yeah, it's definitely going to be a 25. It's on GM's, literally on GM's website, on their press release, right there. The 2025 Corvette ZR1 does 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds. Chevy's not going to say 2025 if it's not going to be a 2025. So it is going to be a 25. With that said, though, don't expect many of them. If I had to guess, we're going to be probably under 12 to 1,500, if that. I would say probably realistically under 1,000 of these things made in 25. So if you are interested in being that guy with the rarest of the rare Corvette, a 2025 ZR1 is going to be a pretty rare car because there's not going to be many of them made. Bryce says, do you feel like the ZR1 is a better car than the Z07? Are you referring to the C8 lineup or the C7 lineup? Yeah, I mean, if Chevy does what they did with the C8 Z06, they pushed the C8 Z06 2023 all the way to the end of October of 2023. And that was still a 2023 being made in October of 2023. So they can really make this car whatever year they want. Technically, they could push that 2025 at just as far, maybe even a hair further, and still call it a 2025 while 2026 is right around the corner. I think we're going to see the C8 ZR1. If I had to guess, you're going to see a handful of them at Corvettes at Carlisle. Yeah, Kevin Horan, he owns a C8 Z06 and he loves the C6. Like, every one of these cars have their purpose. And I mean, my C6 Z06, I loved it. The C7 Z06, I loved that. The C7 ZR1, I love it. I mean, every one of these cars is just an amazing vehicle. Do you feel like the C8 ZR1 is better than the C8 Z06? That's a hard question to answer, man. My big thing is I need to know price, because to answer that fully, I need to know how much the ZR1 is going to cost. If we'll say the ZR1, if it's the same price as the C8 Z06, then obviously that answer is obvious. The ZR1's the better car. Now, if the ZR1 comes out and it's $100,000 more, now all of a sudden I'm not so sure. So once the price is out and where I think the price is going to be, it is going to be very hard to answer that question, because the ZR1 is not a car you're going to be able to use a lot. Whereas the C8 Z06, you can use it a little bit more because of the fact that the power is more usable on a daily basis. So, yeah. Nice. Darren says, seeing my C6 Z06 at the expo is what pushed him to get one. It did look good under those lights. So, Jim, this is where the majority of the difficulty to get a ZR1 is going to come from. The C8 ZR1 has carbon fiber parts on it that you have to have. So, like the side intake boomerangs, those are carbon fiber. The side skirts, they're carbon fiber. And it doesn't matter if you choose to get carbon fiber add-ons or not. Those are carbon fiber regardless. So if there is a carbon fiber constraint, that is literally going to slow down the production of this car because it's not an option. Those cars are literally going to be slowed down because they can't get carbon fiber for whatever reason. No. Anthony George says, do you think it'll be cheaper than a C8 Z07 package? I doubt it. I am pretty sure the C8 ZR1 is going to come out and it's going to starting price before options at around 179 to 189, maybe even 190, somewhere right around there. It's 179 or up. I bet you that car comes out and it's going to be more expensive than a lot of people are going to think. I know a lot of speculation originally said 140, 150. I think it's going to be a little bit higher than that because that 140, 150, that's where I was at originally too, until they told us that it's going to have 1,000 horsepower. Then I was like, they're going to up that price. And I bet you they do. Professor Corvette said pricing should come out in February. I think we're going to get pricing sometime in January because the ability to order the car comes out in February and you have to have the price before you can do that. So I'm thinking somewhere in January, we're going to hear the price of this car. And yeah, that'll be that. Yeah, carbon fiber with brown tint. That is trademarked. I get a quarter every time someone says that. Yeah, 10 seconds Z06 says I'm thinking starting at 200. I bet they won't choose a round number like that. If they started around there, it'll be like 195, 194.9, something like that, but it's basically going to be 200. I don't think anybody that's in the market for a C8 ZR1, none of those people are going to wait for the C8 Grand Sport. That's not going to happen. The people that are going to, the market for the C8 Grand Sport are going to be the people that have currently a C8 Stingray and they didn't go to the E-Ray and the Z06 was too expensive for them. So they're going to go with that car that's right in between the Stingray and the E-Ray, which is going to be the Grand Sport. And I have it on pretty good authority. There's going to be a Grand Sport coming very shortly after the ZR1. So right after the ZR1 comes out, we are likely to get an announcement. Actually, maybe even before we see the ZR, it will be before we see the ZR1. We'll get an announcement about a Grand Sport, but you'll see a Grand Sport shortly after the ZR1. Yeah, it's not brown, it's gold. Well, I'll tell you what, based on the price of those things, it must be gold. There must be a good bit of gold involved in that. See NBA Live, I'm talking base. I'm talking the starting price point for the ZR1 before ZTK, before 2 or 3LZ, before front end lift, all of that stuff. I think it's going to start around that price before any of that. After you add in lift, 3LZ, ZTK, you are pushing 250 easily. I'm with you, Darren. I already have it in my head that if it's over 230 grand, I'm out. And that's car for car. So my Z06 currently is loaded minus the Z07 package. I want to be able to do the same thing with the ZR1 for less than 230 or at max 230. If I can't do that, I don't believe the price difference. I don't believe the price difference makes that car worth it to me. I really don't. What's up, General Lee? He says, sorry, late to the party. Resting seems to be my happiness. What did I miss? Hopefully you're feeling better, man. We talked a little bit about the ZR1, the 2.3 seconds 0 to 60, about how the ZR1, ZTK, and the non-ZTK car really don't have crazy differences in performance. Stuff like that. Yeah, 199, 600 base, I think, not exactly. Yeah, they never choose perfectly round numbers, but they would keep it just shy of 200 just so nobody screamed about 200. They would be, I'm thinking it's going to be a little less than what you said, but it's not going to be by much. Noble Knight says he would only get a C8 Grand Sport if it's all-wheel drive and more horsepower. I doubt it's going to be all-wheel drive. Very likely to be rear-wheel drive still. And in order to keep the price down, they already have the wide-body cars, so that can keep the price down. That already exists. But to keep the price down even further, the best way for them to do that would be to keep the LT2 engine and change the cam and change some other things in it to make it make 40 to 50 more horsepower so they can technically say it's more horsepower, but without completely changing the engine. Because if they did completely change the engine, now you're talking about more money, more research and development, more alterations, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. C8 says to General Lee, says, you missed the part where Justin gave away a free throttle body to everybody that was in the chat. Ended 5 minutes ago, though. Yeah, I'm thinking somewhere around 180 to 190 is where the car's likely to start. All right, so guys, again, with the giveaway tonight, we got 150 in here, 150 people watching. If those people could please smash the thumbs up button. Let's get as many thumbs ups as we possibly can have going in here. The giveaway is about to come to an end. I'm about to draw it. So if you were in here for a free entry as a member, you have to be here to accept the victory. If you're not here, your free entry doesn't count. So you have to, I should have said that earlier, but ultimately I've said it in previous videos, so I know you guys know it. You have to be here. Yeah, Jay, I know me and you are on the same kind of page here. I think for 100,000 over, it's a no from me. 100,000 more than what I've paid for my Z06. I think it's a no. If it comes out and somehow they surprise me with the price and they keep it around the 150 mark, which is where I thought they were going to put it originally before they told us it was 1,000 horsepower. If it's around the 150 mark, I think there's a chance I may get one. Joe says, before I forget, we are extending our HPO5 Justin's discount code on all items in the entire store for all of 2025. Nice. We thank you. We thank all of you for your support and business. Great teaming with you, Justin. It's been awesome working with you guys too, Joe. I appreciate the friendship that we've developed and just overall the relationship in general. So yeah, guys, solar performance. We're going to have the HPO5 code on there for all of 2025 as well. So if you want anything from that site that you didn't win here on the live video this month, you can still get it. Professor Corvette says, does Chevrolet accept the Justin discount code on the C8 ZR1? I don't know. You're going to have to talk to Joe about that one. We'll see if he's going to make that happen or not. Yeah. Yeah, regardless when you get your stuff, guys, if you want to get a solar performance product, use the HPO5 code. I'm going to go ahead and get some names added in to the wheel of fortune here, so we can get this thing rolling. No pun intended. All right, so let me get some names added. I'm going to be quiet here for a minute. You guys just hang in there. Hang in. I'm going to get these added in here so we can start getting this stuff going. Let's see. We got... All right, so guys, again, if you are in here with a free entry, you'll have to stay till the very end here if you do win, because if you're not here when I call your name with a free entry, you're not going to win. You have to be here. Actually, let me see. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody's entry. Oh, I did miss one. So, Omid, it's a good thing I looked. I would not have wanted to miss you, Omid. Got you in there for 10. And we just got another one from Larry. Another 10. All right, that's good because I just put your name in, so we'll get you in for another one. While I'm typing this in, guys, this would be your last chance to get in here for this giveaway. So make sure you're getting in while I'm typing these up. Because as you add in any giveaway, or if you get any entries in here, I will see them pop up as soon as I'm putting them in. Okay. Getting pretty close here, guys. So if you have any you want to get in there, you want to do it now. All right. There we go. So let me just verify we haven't gotten any more. I'm about to spin this wheel, guys. We have not. So here we go. You guys ready? Wheeler O'Hara, trying to get a 2LZ feature on my 1LZ, but need that measurement from someone. Aftermarket Wi-Fi spy, cam for curb camera. From scrape armor radiator grill guards to the back of the grill. Yeah, I could do that measurement. Wheeler, if you want to just shoot me an email, I'll post it in the chat there. Wheeler, shoot me an email to remind me. I can make that measurement for you. But here we go, guys. I'm going to put this on here for you guys to see, and we are going to go ahead and spin this thing. We ready? Let's clear that off there. There we go. Here we go. Oof. Steve Risha, are you in here? Red is Anthony George, Miriam, Darren Burnett, Chopper Larry, Steve Robertson, and Jeremy. It took 2.3 seconds, exactly. All right, Steve Risha, I have your contact info, but looks like you won the throttle controller, which is good. I know he has a C8 Corvette, so he can use this. So, guys, thank you again. Thanks everybody who has participated in this. Thank you, Solar Performance. We have had a fantastic December. Next Monday night is kind of an outlier because it is still December, but it's not Solar Performance anymore because it's been 4 weeks for them already. I'm going to talk to a friend of mine, but I think we're going to have a really interesting Monday Night Live next Monday night because it's going to be talking about extended warranties. I know a lot of you guys have asked me about extended warranties, and there's a good chance we're going to have somebody on here that literally sells them. So they're going to have all of the answers you guys, for any questions you guys might have. But that will be next Monday night, guys. In the meantime, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. I'll actually see you guys before New Year's, but Merry Christmas. Hopefully all of you guys find a C8 Corvette of some kind under your tree this Christmas season. So I will see you guys same time, same place next Monday night. Thank you.